All right, Stipe Miocic analysis part two. So, what makes Stipe such a great fighter, in my opinion? Um, I don't know the rest of this fighter. Just please don't sue me. But what makes him such a great fighter is he's a disciplined martial artist. He has high output. He has good footwork and movement, and he has great eyes. The only two losses he has that came by him being finished in the fight came directly after he suffered some pretty damaging eye pokes. So I'm going to try to do this all the way through in one take. Look at this body shot here against Stefan Struve, digging his hand into the body. His hand sinks into the body. He's got some serious power on those body shots. Look at the thumb when Struve throws his jab, it goes down, and now he sticks his thumb straight into Stipe's eye. To me, it's hard to see that as an accident. Stipe's wincing pretty bad. He's in some serious pain here. I think that eye poke did some damage. And that sets up, the eye poke is the thing that sets up the finishing sequence here. Again, look at that. The second thumb strike to the eye within a couple of seconds by Stefan Struve. Hard to imagine that that's an accident, but who knows. Throws an uppercut. Stipe tries to shuffle out with a compromised eye. He ends up slipping up a little bit. And again, that left hand comes out with the fingers opened. That right hand lands clean. Here, and this is kind of the thing that's the beginning of the end. And then look at that again, a third thumb to the eye, and the way he throws that left there with his fingers open, that's not how he throws his left in just a few seconds here, when the ref is a little bit closer. So finishing strikes, Herb Dean touches him. He knows the fight's over, but he still throws this left hook, this time with a closed fist, as you're supposed to do. I would consider this a late blow here, and then he shoves Stipe to the ground. I think that's poor sportsmanship by Stefan Struve, however you say his name, and I think it's blatant cheating. Here against DC, again, I'm not going to say DC is a cheater because I'm a huge fan of him, but it's hard to excuse what the heck was going on here. He flicks his fingers out like that, straight into Stipe's eye, and that sets up the finishing sequence here. The hook lands on the same side that eye was compromised, and as we know, it's much easier to knock somebody out when you hit them with a strike that they don't see coming. So, in my opinion, in my book, I think Stipe really only has one loss, and it was a split decision to Junior Dos Santos. I don't really count these other two that were preceded by eye pokes. So here in this final fight, in the most recent fight against Daniel Cormier, we see in the second round he starts to go to the body with that knee. That's the first strike he throws to the body, and then he'll start to hit that up a lot more as the fight progresses. I like how he doubles his jab up, and I just want to highlight his toughness here. DC lands a really clean right hook on his jaw, and Stipe just eats it and keeps on going. So as long as he sees the strikes that are coming towards him, he's just tough as nails. A couple of eye pokes in this fight again. DC puts pressure on him. He throws a left hook. I like how he rolls with the left hook and then throws that backside uppercut. Stipe here, overhand right, left hook, good combinations. And it looks like DC's fingers are going into his eyes again at that point. So I think he suffered multiple eye pokes again in this fight. Uppercut, I like how he frames with his left elbow there, and he grabs that overhook and then shuffles his feet out to the side, and then gets a good angle, and he lands that right hand there. So good takedown defense, good awareness of what's happening, and good defense, quick movement, and then as soon as he finds an angle, he fires. He's got fast hands and good eyes. Again, another thumb from Daniel Cormier going into the eye of Stipe. Unfortunate. Another really solid right hook from Daniel Cormier lands, and he just eats it. Stipe, again, tough as nails. Notice the head position here when he's got the body lock. He's got the hand position 1, but he doesn't have the head position 1. And to complete a takedown, to have perfect takedowns, you want to have good hand position and good head position. Now look at the head position. Now he's got his head underneath DC's, and he's winning the hand and the head fighting battle. The pain on DC's face tells you that he's doing that correctly. When you're squeezing in with your hands and putting pressure with your head under their chin, it should basically feel like you're putting them in a neck crank. From here, he's going to kind of, again, maintain that position. Head and hand fighting is important, and I think Stipe does it well. He maintains that position, he twists, and kind of starts to rotate him down to the ground. Now, as he's rotating to the ground chest to chest with the head and hand position, he's going to step his right leg in. Watch the right leg of Stipe. He'll step it in, split the legs of DC as he twists him to the ground, and that helps complete the takedown. Once he gets him to the ground, DC is immediately going to pop back up. He offers his back, but Stipe just puts pressure on the back of his head. This is a great move. If you control the head, you control the body. And in this position, Stipe is putting pressure on the head, forcing it towards the mat, and making Daniel Cormier work. Just a little bit harder to stand back up. Puts a drain on his energy. Stipe, I like how he kisses his glove right here. I don't know exactly why he does that, but to me, I think that's just a little tick that he has. I've seen him do it in a lot of his fights. I think it's just a little tick that he has that reminds him that he's here and he's fighting. A lot of guys show up to a fight just to fight, and I think when you have like a little thing like that that reminds you you're here not just to fight, but you're here to win. I think it's like a little tick. I just thought I'd mention that I think it's a nice thing that he does to remind himself to kind of be in the moment and be in the fight. Dips his head to the outside, and this is where we start to see the body shots land. Boom, that one lands on the upper part of the rib cage. Nice, nice body shots here. And I think he lands a total of 11 of them. Dips his head towards the chest. Look at the bend in the knees. Power shot. Lands that good shot again to the rib cage. So he lands the first couple on the rib cage. Now he goes to the soft part below the rib cage. He's mixing up where he's hitting the body on that side. Again, rotating his hips into that left hook. This one he sets up with a hook to the head and then dips into the body. I like how he goes right above the guard of DC. DC drops his forearm and he goes right above it. Another little uppercut to the body. And now look at the difference in their stances. DC is walking towards him like he's walking down the street. Not very technical, not very disciplined. Hands are down. And look at the difference in Stipe's movement. He's on his toes, he's bouncing, his knees are bent. Just disciplined fighting. He stays consistent and he does everything right. Good movement, good classical movement from Stipe. Again, still looking at their stance. Knees bent, light on his feet, shuffling. And look at the way that Daniel's turning. He's just turning and facing him. There's nothing conventional about that. You should, I think most coaches would argue that you should, when you're turning and facing somebody, you should be pivoting, or you should be turning in a way that's a little bit different than that. Anyway, so Stipe throws a left hook to the head, steps in, left hook to the body. Real quick, that's not to rag on DC at all. I love DC. I'm a big, big fan of Daniels. But it's just to highlight how good Stipe is. He just stays so disciplined throughout the fight, always technically very sound. Again, moves his head to the outside, throws that body shot. So here he sets it up with a jumping left hook, lands another body shot, head to the outside, bam, lands that body shot. Beautiful work here, again, turning his hips into it. And then even in the fourth round, Daniel still got some power. He lands a good right hand right there, and Stipe just eats it. He is, again, very tough. Head to the outside, left uppercut to the body. Head to the outside, left uppercut to the body again. Look at how he's turning his hips into it. And this is the one that really hurts him. Digs that uppercut and then watch his footwork here as he shuffles and creates an angle. Throws a 1-2, and then he angles out after that 2. Nice movement. And then this is where he closes the show, steps in with the right hand. From here, he steps into southpaw. Again, another right hand to close the distance. Left hook, and then as DC's falling, that right hand right there, as he's falling, that's the one that made sure that Daniel was not going to be getting back up from that. It was a clean, powerful right hand as DC was falling. So I like to try to think about how these fighters can be beat, what you could do if you're having to fight them. Man, if you have to fight Stipe, that's a tough, tough task. He's so disciplined and he's so good in all the different areas. We see that he has some problems with his vision, so I think the game plan, if you have to fight Stipe, might be to just have a very fast jab, be in and out, try to cut up his forehead, try to cut up his cheekbones with your jab for the first couple of rounds, and then just be very well conditioned, and then in the later rounds, if you're successful in bloodying up his eyes and messing up his vision, then you start to land the power shots. But if you try to just come right out the gate with power shots, Stipe's countering and his movement and his defensive awareness is just going to be too much for you. Again, that's a very tough task to beat Stipe. He's a championship fighter for a reason, so good luck with that.